Yes, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am here. It's your boy Soundman. I'm in the building. I am the Time Trader. Appreciate you for joining me. Let people slowly come into the chat room. I appreciate you. Let the people come in. Of course, this show, of course, as always, like all my shows, brought to you by my sponsors. Equity Feed. Get 2 weeks free. Best scanner on the market. EquityFeed.com. No credit card required at EquityFeed.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta figure out what's going on with FANG. Shout out to the people coming to the chat room right now. What's going on with FANG, ladies and gentlemen? We'll talk FANG amongst many other tickers. We had a penny stock today that literally went to heaven and hell in the same day. You know, that's pretty rare, and we'll talk about that today as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I put out a video just a few moments ago about Netflix. If you weren't a part of it, then you'll definitely learn about it moving forward. I think for the business trading community, it's pretty much the only stock that's been talked about over the last couple hours since the end of the trading day. And I'm not going to beat, a dead horse again, but look, at the end of the day, you got to be surprised at where Netflix is right now. I think looking at the after hours move here in the shaded area, you got to be disappointed if you're a call buyer here in Netflix. You got to be disappointed here. And I've heard a gamut of the reasons why. I've heard some people say the deal they did with Barack Obama, that's ridiculous, okay? That's ridiculous. At the end of the day, what I want to talk about, some people that aren't saying this, but those little Kodi boxes that people have? Whether it be the little Android boxes or the fact that they can load Kodi on their mobile devices as well as their desktop device or their computers. And they can get basically everything on Netflix on these Kodi boxes. And we got to be honest, the mass majority of people aren't really smart enough to kind of put that all together. But you got to think that there's got to be people out there who are just saying, you know what, why even pay for it when I can get it for free? Why even pay for it when I can get it for free? Right? And at the end of the day, these people could possibly have been individuals who were on the cable thing, got off the cable thing, went to Netflix, and then figured out, shit, I can get it for free. And then now they're off the Netflix thing. They're off the Netflix thing. But we'll see what happens from here. I also speculated on the video that the word got out on Netflix prior to today's release of that report. I believe it. When I look at Thursday, Friday's move, I believe it. All right. We're going to be well below the Bollinger Bands on Netflix. And if I can, let me go ahead and light that up for you. We're going to be nicely well below those Bollinger Bands on Netflix moving forward. And again, it's going to be a great dip buy opportunity. It's going to be a great dip buy opportunity for somebody out there for the short term. I mean, very short term. I'm thinking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe even that day, But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to want to be a guy who's going to buy Netflix at the open and hold it for the whole day. I think that's a scary trade. That's a scary trade. And I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. I think I got Ken on the line here. 646. Is this Ken?
Hey, how you doing?
Ken, what's going on, man?
No, it's been a long time. How's it going?
Good,
How's it going? I wish I played those Netflix puts. It seems so obvious it was going to go down. It just did. It was so weird the way it was trading late last week when all the other FANG stocks were hitting new highs, but Netflix was coming down.
Yeah, and again, that's why I just think the word was out. You had a few analysts come out and put sell recommendations on the stock. Now the FANGs are lower along with Netflix, but again, those are, different stories, different companies. I think those are buy opportunities. Unfortunately, Netflix continues to go lower.
Yeah, definitely. I got very lucky today. I had a very big position in AVEO. It's one of those biotech stocks. It was the reason why I went so heavy in it. I had like 7,000 shares was because tremendous insider buying over the last few months. Great chart, a lot of accumulation. But he couldn't break 3, and I sold it this morning at 288, 289, and it crashed after hours. The AVEO on delayed data with their cancer drug.
Mm-hmm.
I was very fortunate there.
Okay, so you're saying it's down after hours right now?
Yeah. There was news out after 4 o'clock on Apple, Victor,
it.
Ernie, Anya, and it dropped all the way down to 191 after hours, close to 230 in after hours.
Yeah,
Huge drop.
I see it. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're talking about penny stocks that do this, especially, it's very rare that you get the bounce back to those higher levels. So, I mean, how do you play this, Ken? What's your take moving forward on this?
I think you gotta. Since there's no real catalyst to the fourth. It's not that they're not going to release the data till the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very patient for the next few months. You gotta. They'll probably retest the low around $2, $92. I would wait to that, and maybe if you want to buy a small position. But it's just interesting. You know, there was a lot of call volume on this stock in the last few days, but it really didn't matter. Mm-hmm. It just shows you got to be so careful.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, sometimes you just don't know. And look, some traders avoid earnings, you know, in general. I mean, they just play into that day, and then, you know, they don't play the actual announcement. So that's always another strategy, you know, to take up as well. So, Ken, obviously, there's got to be some other tickers you want us to kind of be abreast of.
I do. Let us have it, you got this pen. Ariat Corporation, Apple, Red, Yellow, Charlie. I got in this at a nickel. I had played this a month or two ago and around 3 cents. Mm-hmm. There was some huge news out today, about their drug. Where they reported their clinical instrumental sales to the FDA. This is Apple, Red, Yellow, Charlie, ARYC.
Oh, ARYC. Okay.
Look at this freaking chart. I mean, obviously you're not going to buy it now. Maybe it'll hit 10 and bounce on it. It might come down a little bit. But what a hell of a move.
Okay. Wow. ARYC, OTC stock up 33%. Boy, obviously this is a chart that's been on the move for quite a while here, man. I mean, and obviously looking at the chart, I mean, I think we've missed our opportunity here when I look at it. What makes you think this goes higher?
About this earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's going higher, but we'll see.
All right.
We'll see. But
we'll see.
That's a good one. And also
possibly
a couple more.
A pullback here we can get and see if it bounces off that.
I would think so, yeah. Want to get your opinion. One that's been very intriguing to me is this bankrupt company, and I know you're not crazy about bankrupt stocks, but BioAmber, BIO Apple Quarter. It's been kind of boring there for the last month or so. It's been hovering around 5 cents. July 31st or 30th, this one all the bidders, they have 22 companies bidding on them, and I would watch this one. It's about 5 cents. $193 million in the float.
BIOQ.
BIOAQ.
BIOAQ. Okay. BioAmber, nickel stock. Yeah, I mean, these Qs are always tricky to play. Now what's the objective? What's got you wanting to go long here?
It's a Canadian company, and supposedly they're out of bankruptcy. The Q hasn't been removed, but it should be removed soon. Mm-hmm. And that there's 22 companies bidding on this company, and the bids are supposed to be the deadline is July 30th, mm-hmm. which is 2 weeks from now. Mm-hmm. So if you see some heavier volume come into the stock and it can break above 6-7 cents, I think the old high was around 7-ish. So maybe you wait till it gets above 7, and that way you're not waste opportunity cost. The money's just sitting there dead.
Absolutely.
And that probably is the best bet there.
Right. I mean, it's so far right now, again, holding the 20 moving average very healthily. So it's got buyers, it's got support. So we'll see what moves forward in BIOAQ here. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely watch that one. And the other one, the stem cell one, I had talked to you about a while back, CELZ. You liked this one. You said this thing was going to go. This is when it was around 2 cents.
Yeah,
now
this is the one that I talk a lot, to people in chat rooms. That was a real missed opportunity. It's been a while since I've gotten to a really good OTC stock, but this one had a much better than average buzz. Ken, there's OTC stocks, and then there's OTC stocks that actually have a committed group of buyers behind it. And this is one of those plays that has a committed group of buyers that goes beyond just a couple posts here and there on Twitter. And, obviously, like most of them, they want to see the company win, but they're buying the lows, and it continues to go higher.
Yeah, it looks good. The volume's starting to come back in. The 7 cents is the old high, so we're getting close.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Because it get to 10 cents, we'll see. And one more today, DRUS, David Red, Union Sam. You remember that one? That one went from like a penny to where did it go?
It's so funny because Ken, I'm writing I was thinking about I have an article that's halfway done from my website. But the thing about it is that the news that they put out today, it was a subsidiary company that got another 1 million. Was it 1 million or 2 million, something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
For the federal government. So elaborate a little bit on DRUS. Why do you think it's a good legitimate play? Because I feel like it's just such a sketchy company. I want to tell people about it, but obviously you bringing it up, you're saying there's something different about it. So change my mind on this. What are you seeing here?
They claim that they had 25 million in revenues, and they're audited. I don't know too much about it. All I know is that there was a lot of dilution after the first run. There's a tremendous amount of dilution. That's why they ran it back into the ground the last couple of weeks. So people believe that dilution is done for the time being, and there was also, looks like on July 13th there was another contract for $659,000 that was posted on Investors Hub for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I have tiny positions.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll definitely tell you. You gave us a lot of tickers today, Ken. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. I haven't called you in a while, so you're on Monday and Wednesday now?
Yes, Monday and Wednesday, Ken. So definitely catch me here Monday and Wednesday, same time as usual, just Monday and Wednesdays now.
Okay. Thank you, and I enjoyed your Netflix video today. That was good.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Ken.
Enjoy. Take care.
All right. So thank you, Ken, for the call. Shout out to the people in the chat room. Howard Cooper, Redneck Trader, The Quickster, Raphael Joseph, Chris Latston, A Ranger, Sean Murphy, what's going on? Pink Penny, Jeff the Mean Marine, JT the Bullhead, what's going on? Greer Jones, George M, what's up, man? George M, hey, were you in that ticker MTSL? We're going to talk about that in just a second. Random Stock Run, DNF Bob, you said you're bag holding in Netflix. Yeah, tough day for Netflix traders. It's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. 120 puts in JNJ. Oh, A Ranger, I didn't see your question. Ken, if you can see A Ranger's question, he's saying if you kept up with Fuzz, F-U-S-Z, that was the Oracle play. All right. Yeah, let's take a look at that MTSL, man. MTSL, it was really interesting because I wanted to short this in my Interactive Brokers account, but there wasn't much available to really make sense for me. And if you see what happened, going into the close on MTSL, this is a situation where, again, I'm adding that shaded area because I just want to show where it is after hours, and I'll get rid of that in just a second. But we saw the stock today going higher, right? It was an incredible alert on blackboxtrader.org as well. Just beautifully hugging the bands there on the Keltner channel at the top of the band. I mean, it was a buy all day. And then all of a sudden, I mean, you just had the mother shitload drop at the top of the hour. Actually, that was damn near 4 o'clock. I mean, but literally 20 minutes into the close. And you got people now on Twitter that are they're basically virtually crying. You can see it on Twitter. They're basically virtually crying. On stock Twitch as well, basically virtually crying. And we're just so disappointed in how quickly things can change. How quickly things can change if one, you don't have a stop loss, or two, stop losses get hit and then things just continue to go lower. And that's a panic sell. That's what panic selling looks like, folks. Looks just like this. Looks just like this. A great day turns into an awful day almost instantaneously. Almost instantaneously. All right, let me see if I can, I'll take that extended hours off because that'd probably be better for us to see. But there it is, MTSL. Boy, and you don't see it often. You don't see it often, but this is what it looks like when a great run, taps out. That's what it looks like. Okay? That's what it looks like. I wanted to talk real quick about FANG. Real quick. Didn't you love the financials? I talked about the financials last week, Wednesday, right? And one stock I pointed in particular was Bank of America. What a great day for Bank of America. Delivered solid earnings today. The financial space, it still looks really good. Financials look really good. Let me bring the MACDs back in here. Financials look really good, people. I haven't understood why they've been selling off as aggressively as they have over the last couple weeks. Let me get out the 5-minute chart, get into the daily. This is let me get out the Kelter channels, give you a better look, right? So we've taken an L on the financials over the last couple of weeks. And here we are now back above that 20 moving average. Definitely back above the 10. Let me put the Keltners back on. But now we've peaked our head above that higher Keltner channel. This is a buy signal. This is a buy signal here, at least for Bank of America. When you look at the ETF XLF, you also see a nice move today on XLF, helped out by Bank of America. JP Morgan, I like JP Morgan too. I like all the financials that have sold off aggressively here. I like the Goldman Sachs. I like where Goldman Sachs is right now. Nice move today in Goldman Sachs. Across the board, we saw financials benefit today in what we saw in Bank of America. So, again, if you're looking for a ticker, right, that, Goldman Sachs, not the cheapest ticker in the world, but, again, if you're an option player, here's your in. Here's your in. Nice little stop, but, you can go in here for a week and a half and see what happens for you. Absolutely, they're lending money again. And look, say what you want about our national deficit and whatnot. At the end of the day, the financials are really strong. And I think financials look good, at least, for the time being. And there's no real reason to, buy puts on these right now. If we look at the monthly chart in a stock like Goldman Sachs, all right, so we've had pretty ugly, couple months in Goldman Sachs. All right, so far we're setting up a nice chart for June, and I think that's a buy here. Not exactly the most beautiful bullish engulfing pattern, but I think you got a buy signal developing there. All right. Let me see XLF. Let's see XLF on the monthly. XLF. On the monthly, see how that looks. And again, another situation where, again, very bearish months, right? And now, you're back into the channel. And, I think you go long here and see what happens. Nice play. I agree with you on that, Desert Edge. I agree. JP Morgan killed it today, too. JP Morgan, and again, you can't have your your money everywhere, but JP Morgan is another, ticker that was beautiful throughout 2017. All right, last couple of months obviously been trading very poorly, but as you can see, anybody who got it in those low 90s, you've been well rewarded with your patience. You've been very well rewarded with your patience. Look at the weekly chart. Look at that, man. You got below that bottom channel. That's your buy. That's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful on the weekly chart. You're up. Well, what is that? You're damn near up $8 a share from the bottom of that channel on J.P. Morgan Chase. Wells Fargo too. Wells Fargo's another one. Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs getting the CEO who, by the way, happens to be he was already a president, so he's been on the staff for quite a while. He already knows what needs to be done. Replacing Lloyd Blankfield or something like that. I might not be pronouncing his name right. Wells Fargo is another one. I've always loved Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo is nice because when you look at the weekly chart here, you're just seeing that beautiful ascending RSI level here. I mean, you could just see it. And you'll see this in stocks that really want to do a turnaround after a very aggressive sell-off. You'll see that, RSI level that just has a higher low developing throughout the chart in whatever time frame that you're looking at, but preferably in these higher time frames, whether it be in the daily or in the weekly. Absolutely beautiful RSI level there. And then you had the MACD cross not too long ago as well in the weekly. So that just confirmed that you got buyers coming back in here. And again, what a great purchase, right? What a great purchase at these RSI lows. All right, $50. Now you're up almost $7 a share. You're up almost $7 a share. All right. Yes, indeed. Yeah, click that like button. I appreciate you guys, man. Click that like button. A lot of guys, they don't want to say it. They'll say it in my email, but a lot of guys have gotten wiped out. These OTC stocks wipe people out and they disappear, until they get that $2,000 back, and then they come back into the game. What's going on, Shirley Lewis? I understand. I've been there. These OTCs got to wipe you out, and then you learn your lesson, and then you come back. It's been a long time for me, but I've been there, so I get it. I get it. Let me see here. Amazon 1900 by. Well, here's the thing. Amazon sold off today after the bell, again, due to what happened in Netflix. But also, today is Prime Day, and Amazon.com. One, I didn't see that great deals, on Amazon.com like that. And I was, looking for a nice little tablet for my baby. I didn't see really good deals. Maybe it's just me. I didn't see really good deals, but Amazon continues to go higher. Look, I'm when you're talking about Amazon, you're talking about a company with virtual monopoly power right now. You're talking about a company that in many cities that it operates, it doesn't even pay any taxes. Okay. Why would you bet against a stock like that? I wouldn't bet against a stock like that. So Amazon, you got some people who are out there making a killing, selling out of the money puts on Amazon. I think you're going to continue to do and make a lot of money doing that. If you look at Amazon on the monthly chart, if you've been doing that over the last several months, you've only had, one losing month, if that, right? And that's if you didn't buy it at the lows or if you didn't sell at the lows. But for the most part, guys are making a ton of money selling out of the money puts in Amazon, right? And every month it just continues to go higher and higher and higher. And I don't see it stopping. Yes, we're overbought. Right? Where are we on a monthly? Over 87, overbought. It's a very expensive stock right now. But when we talk about which stock is going to make it to $1 trillion, I think Amazon gets there before Apple. I still don't know why Apple is worth as much as it's worth now. I'd love somebody to call up and tell me why Apple is so expensive. I mean, I know they were doing the car thing. I know their products are pretty cool, but I mean, damn. I don't see the Apple products everywhere like that. I mean, the phone is the shit. But it's been a minute since I've seen somebody using an Apple computer. I don't know about you. But it's been a minute for me. DPG, yeah, I didn't see any deals there. Amazon, absolutely not affected by the trade war. I know you got the cheap Chinese products on there, but for the most part, that's not necessarily Amazon bringing that in. That's your sellers who are wholesaling from these Chinese manufacturers and then placing it on Amazon. But yes, Amazon is a company virtually little or no, exposure from the corporate side to what's going on in China right now. All right, absolutely. And what's going on in China shouldn't even be something you should be worried about. As you can see with the last several weeks of trading, we saw it greatly affect us about a week and a half ago. And now looking back in hindsight, that was only a buying opportunity. If you look at the SPY in particular, or SPX, whatever you wanted, that was only a buying opportunity. If we look at it, go back to the weekly chart. All right, we see, these last 3 weeks, that was basically the conversation. Those lows were just a buying opportunity. And look at where we are now. All right. The volatility is practically vanished. Right. Friday was a slow day. Today was a very, very slow day. And that's actually, I like to trade that day. I like to trade days like that. I don't like us moving up 10 points, 15 points every other day. I hate that. It's hard to trade a market like that. You got to run to iron condors, or you got to, or stay out of the market in general. It's hard to day trade a market that swings crazy. Absolutely. Snap after several months. Well, here's the thing. I know the 10-cent deal, several months ago was a big deal, right? If we look at Snap, right, 10-cent increased their ownership in the stock, but Snap has still struggled. And now, looking at this weekly chart, it still looks weak. Snap still looks pretty weak. Fighting to find support here in the 12s, struggling to hold 13. I mean, today we got to as low as 12.90. William, let me know, William, where do you see Snap in the next, 90 days? Earnings approaching. Let me know. All right. But the last time I really spoke to some young people about what they think about Snap, the younger kids are still using it, but you're still not seeing Snap really figuring out how to get older kids and adults to really get back on board with Snap again. All right. Basically now it's just going to these IG part-time porn stars, and they're selling these little private Snap accounts. You guys know what I'm talking about. Look to short Snap. I mean, it looks like a short now. I mean, you're struggling to maintain these even $13. There it is. I mean, this is your chart here in Snap on the daily. I got out the weekly. Here's the daily. And, it's just showing a lot of weakness here. And, I think if somebody's saying, hey, I want to short, I wouldn't bet against it. Maybe your stop is that higher Bollinger, maybe with that 1370, and see what happens from here. He says Snapchat is whack. Yes, Shirley, we talked Goldman Sachs. It's a buy at that level. Yeah, you're definitely looking like a buy right now on Goldman Sachs. Definitely looking like a buy on Goldman Sachs. All right. Some other tickers I wanted to talk about today. Again, that disappointing MTSL, which, by the way, they might squeeze the shit out of you tomorrow. We'll see. They might squeeze the shit out of you tomorrow. Let me see here. NVIDIA's got to be a buy here. I know I talked NVIDIA, but NVIDIA has got to be a buy there at those levels. There was also another ticker that woke up for a second and then went right back to sleep. I didn't bring it up last week because I don't think it ran. But did you guys see that move that gave some people a bit of hope? What was that? In HMNY? I mean, it's a piece of shit stock. I mean, the stock is a piece of shit. And I said it was a piece of shit because, you know, at the end of the day, I think this is going into bankruptcy. I've got it out of my mind that Verizon is going to save this company. They're not going to save the company. And now with AMC coming out with their own little VIP brand, I think it's good night for HMNY. Yeah, good luck for them. Good luck for them. All right. Other than that, you guys will know what the number is, 305-600-2896. Let's talk about your tickers now. I've gone through the ones that have been interesting me. I'm still in my SPX Iron Condor for 2850, 2710. So 2710, 2850, I'm still in it. Obviously, we broke the trend, so we should be coming back lower. I'm thinking possibly, you know, us coming back down to maybe even retest 2760 eventually, or that's 276 if we're talking about the SPY. You know, the market is still, you know, look, the economy is good, but the market is still, there's very much a lack of conviction, right? And I think you guys have noticed that too. There's a lack of conviction with the upside move. There's still upside. It's just that kind of, you know, I don't see that push that we saw possibly, let's say if you're talking last November or December going into January. January was just a whole different kind of month on a whole different level. But I just don't see that energetic push that we're used to seeing if we're talking about the continuation of this quote-unquote greatest bull market of our lifetime, these last 10 and a half years or so. All right, ADT. This is, I believe, ADT the is this ADT the company for home security? I believe that's them. All right, I believe that's them. Definitely a buy signal here, ADT. Obviously, you know, when the stock first peaks above, you know, I've been using these Keltner channels. When it first peaks above that blue, the top blue line, that's your buy signal. But obviously, it's been going in the right direction here. You're about to hit that high RSI line there and get oversold. But you might, you know, figure out what the fundamental story that's changed here. Looking really good over the last several days here. Looking at from the lower band to the highest one, I mean, you're up just under $2 a share in ADT. Nice move. What's going on, Legendary 8s? You're long HMNY. Ryan, where are you in on HMNY? I mean, the stock is taking a huge hit. I'm curious. William Kidd, you're short SPY? Yeah, I see a pullback here happening. I mean, we can see it clearly in the chart as the trend has just recently broken with today's move. We couldn't even maintain 2,800. 2,800 has been a level we've been struggling with for damn near 6 months, and we got it last week, and now we lost it today. We lost it today, and to be all honest, 2,800 or 280 doesn't look like we'll get it back, because I'm looking at the earnings for the rest of the week. We didn't do good today on Netflix, so the Qs are going to be down tomorrow. And when the Qs are down, SPX is down. Amazon Prime Day wasn't impressive, so I don't even know if we get 2,800, you know, back this week. I'm not in pizza. I'm very disappointed to what happened to Papa John's. I don't even want to talk about that situation. I mean, the company has really gone out of their way to really kind of get him out of the picture, right? I mean, they've gone ahead and they kicked him out. They evicted him out of the offices today. The Kentucky, I forgot that city. The University of Louisville. There you go. The University of Louisville took down the name of the stadium. that either was named after him or Papa John's. Somebody can correct me on that. They took the name down. So, Papa John's is doing what they need to do to, get their brand back on track. And if Papa John is smart, they got to get into a situation that 90 days from now, you got to ask the question, who owns Papa John's? And that guy's name can't come back to your memory. They got to do whatever. They just delete that guy off the memory of the company. And they've done a really good job of that so far. If you go to the website, they used to have his picture everywhere and whatnot. You cannot find a picture of this guy on the website now. They've taken literally every image of him and his association with the company down from the website. Yeah, the CEO ran it into the ground. Yeah. Ran it into the ground. And by the way, that was a situation if Uber was public. If you remember Travis, the CEO from Uber, he was getting into a whole bunch of shit. That exactly would have happened there. But Papa John's, they're going to do what they got to do. We'll see how they moving forward with the stock. 857, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Sal?
Doing good. Who am I speaking with?
Pink Penny.
Hey, what's going on, Pink Penny? What you got for us today?
Quick question. I know we already went over it, Netflix, but I was calling because I was calling about my ticket. I play Bank of America too. Cheap call options. I plan on holding it for a while. But I'm calling about Netflix. I did a straddle. I bought a put option and a call option, and I went at the money on both. Not on a put option. I went at the money. It's the strike is at 3:40 August the 3rd. It expires, and the delta is let me see. The delta is 20.35.
Mm-hmm.
So it got like a $50 move. So I mean the put is basically gonna wipe the call away, and I'll take the spread. So I was calling to see how come people don't play earnings like that.
Well, they could. I mean, but again, non-directional calls aren't popular. I mean, when it comes to options, a lot of guys just know directional. Hey, I buy a call or I buy a put. So, these strategies are called advanced option strategies, and a lot of people just don't know. A lot of people just don't know, and you're gonna make money by the fact that one side of the trade is going to offset the losses in the other. And with this drastic move, you should have more than enough profit on it, especially if it continues. Especially sounds like you got more than enough time on it to continue to see gains as the stock continues to go lower. So, but yeah, congrats to you. But like I was saying, people just don't know how to make money besides just simply directional up and down.
And I'm surprised you wasn't in it, Sal, because I don't know if you was, but I remember, was it last week you did an early show and you was short in Netflix. You had to put, I don't know what you did, but I know you was on a short side of Netflix.
Yeah, and, I'd always believed that Netflix was too expensive, right? I mean, for what you were doing, you're paying $236 for every dollar of earnings. I've always thought it was too expensive, but I'd never expected for the company to miss. I mean, the world is going in that direction and in the business that they're offering. So I would have never went into earnings, admittedly, with puts on Netflix. Obviously, we can see to it today. Yeah. That would have been an incredible move for anybody. But, shout out to you for that, man.
Okay, and so one last question. Do you think, like, the money's leaving out of tech and it's just going to go to financials? Is that where the market's heading?
I don't know how to, not necessarily. I mean, that honestly, that all I know is that financials are oversold and they're still, for the most part, cheaper than where technology is right now. And I would want to be in financials. Now, whether or not the money is moving there, it honestly doesn't matter. I'm looking at financials. And when you look at some of these good financial companies, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citigroup, right? You're looking at great companies with huge balance sheets, a lot of cash, and they're sitting at really great PEs and pretty low on these RSI levels, and that's where I want to be.
Okay, one last question because I'm still a novice. So, is the 10-year note if it raises above 3, is that going to be good for financials? Is that going to make financials more higher valued, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, investors want more money on more yield. So, of course, it's going to help. But that's for more or less for guys who are playing really. I mean, you're going to be holding a position for a year and a half, and then I'm talking about the fact that what they've done over the last quarter, moving into into earnings. I think they're cheap, and I think they're going to deliver, as we saw here on Bank of America. And I would even avoid what the 10-year yield is doing. I think right now, this last quarter, we're talking about stocks that are cheap. They're going to go into earnings and they're going to do well, and you're going to make money.
All right, one last thing for the listeners. Pay attention to Sal. He's not a day trader, not a swing trader, but a time trader. That right there gave me a new perspective on you. Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you,
All right.
man. Appreciate you, bro.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay.
Yes, indeed, man. Shout out to Pink Penny for the trade. I think you just don't go wrong financials, man. I think you can't go wrong financials. And shout out to the guys who got into Bank of America. It's just one of those, cheap stocks that you can buy a shitload of calls on really cheap, and you can grow your account. Again, just being a little bit patient. What's going on, Hosea? ARCO. Not familiar with this company. Let me know what it is. It looks like restaurant and bars. So are we talking about a restaurant holding company? I'm not well versed on the restaurants. Last time I checked, I think people don't like going out to eat like they used to. A stock that I liked to follow a while ago when I, really first got into trading was Ruby Tuesday. And I don't even know, are they even still trading? I think Ruby Tuesday, I don't even know if they still trade. If Ruby Tuesday still is publicly traded, I couldn't find it there in just that quick second. But Ruby Tuesday used to be one of my favorite little stocks to trade. But I haven't seen it recently. All right. POTN. What do I think about POTN? We had this conversation last week about how disappointing marijuana has been over the last couple months. I got to be honest. I'm pretty disappointed, especially the last 6 months, what marijuana has been doing. I mean, looking at a company like POTN, could it restart again? Never say never, but I can't lie. I'm pretty disappointed to where POTN is right here. And I'm not sure if we've gotten to the lows here. Now we're looking to retest that 20 cent support level. Looks like we're losing steam here. We're setting up, lower lows. If you like POTN, wait till we get a clear bottom. Wait till we get a clear bottom. We might get back to 20 cents again, and then we'll try and see if we bounce there. All right. And obviously, if we get a bounce at 20 cents, then that's something you definitely want to be a part of. All right. On a double bottom. So that'd be beautiful. But as we're looking at right now, POTN doesn't look like a stock that I would want to go in and hold for the long. All right. And again, that's just looking at the chart here as we continue to set up new lows. All right. There was a guy who was going back and forth with me on RNVA on Twitter. Please stay away from RNVA. All right. This company is not interested in making money. This company is, I don't know what their gig is. I don't know if they're just, this is, in my opinion, possibly some kind of stock selling scheme or what, but they just love taking on debt, shitting on investors. And I don't know. I just don't think they care about ever becoming a company that's going to build shareholder value. We've been on this 3-year experiment with RNVA. Oh, well, if we delist, we can go OTC. We don't have to worry about, SEC filings. We'll get the hospital back up. It was South Fork Medical Center. They bought the hospital, and then they bought a second hospital. They say, oh, no, this second one, this will be it. And they never got it right. Till today, still never got it right. So I think you got to move your money elsewhere. TRXC, What's going on, Chris McKinney? TRXC. Don't know too much about this company. Medical equipment, medical supplies. Again, my number 305-600-2896. If you got something to say about this ticker, give me a call. Cruise Cuts DRUS. DRUS looks real healthy. Again, I just got done talking to Ken about it. I was going to put something on Advanced Equity Research calling it a pump, right? Calling it a pump based on what it's moving. But right now, the sentiment isn't on my side. You got way more bulls out there than bears like myself. Again, this is too cheap to short, but I like warning people. But for the most part, these last 2 days have given a lot of people a lot of hope. And you got guys who are thinking this could possibly retest some recent highs. And I'm not going to put any article out right now. So let it keep doing its thing, and we'll watch it. But right now, you got to remember that its subsidiary is what has people excited, and not necessarily the drone business itself. Not necessarily the drone business itself. So that's got to be very clear to anybody who's thinking about going into this. All right. The company, for the most part, is broke. The company, for the most part, is broke. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just disappointed. And again, cannabis and the cannabis situation is the fact that it's just too cheap. It's too cheap of a business to get in. It's too easy to get in. And what I, for a long time, thought the cannabis business would be is that you'd have these very small companies, right, that would get into the market, get these very hard to get licenses to sell, whether it be retail or cultivation. And what would happen is you'll have a giant like American to British Tobacco, come in and just buy them all, right? Well, that's not going to happen because these licenses, whether it be retail or cultivation, are too easy to get. It's just too easy to get. Anybody with $500,000 could get a retail license and a grower's license, and you're good. And you're good, man. So, that's the gist of cannabis. That's the gist. Starbucks. Let's take a look at Starbucks. I know Bad Scientist was in Starbucks, and we called it a buy. What was that? That was Wednesday of last week or so. We called it a buy here on Starbucks. As you can see here, had a really good Friday, slightly down today, 68 cents. But I think you stay in the trade, right? You stay in this trade on Starbucks. Again, rising RSI level, lower highs developing here. Got out that oversold level. Here's a beautiful buy opportunity, right? I mean, and this is, again, I've really gotten out of like the guessing game when it comes to trading and just using moving averages, oversold RSI, and just not making my trading complicated anymore like I was doing for a long time. And just making sense here. Look at the weekly. I mean, just, beautiful doji sign there. It's got a bigger body than you would expect. But again, it confirmed the change in momentum in terms of the end of the selling. And bullish engulfing. I mean, this is just beautiful. Beautiful. Usually you would have the body envelop the entire red day previous, but for the most part on the weekly, actually, you're still pretty low there on the weekly, right? You're still below this lower band, but this is still an entry. This is still an entry for you on Starbucks, all right? This is still an entry for you, and again, this is just today, so. This don't look at that weekly and say, oh man, we're still bear. This is 1 day's action, which is this week, which is what we're developing right now. And I think you're still healthy for an in if you're looking to be patient in Starbucks. K-Mac, how far will Netflix fall? That's the $100 million question. That's the $100 million question. I mean, I would love to know how far Netflix will fall. Should I go in and just start selling, 340 calls? But I foresee a nice little bounce in the morning on Netflix. So I need to know whether or not there's going to be a clear rejection of that 50 moving average, particularly on the hourly. tomorrow on Netflix. If we get back above that 50 moving average, then they're talking about possibly going back up. But if we see a rejection, then wherever that rejection is on the price level, then you take a put there and, you know, an entry put, right? Maybe one, and just see what happens moving forward. And whether or not it continues to go lower, then you add to it. But I wouldn't buy or make a decision on Netflix based on a 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute candlestick. I think that's pretty dangerous when you're talking about a stock people love to buy. All right, we're talking about buying puts on that. Which trading platform? This is TradingView. I haven't changed. This is still TradingView. Appreciate you, Brian Moore. Yeah, all the banks are cheap right now, and if you're looking for solid plays, man, just pick the best of the litter. Citigroup, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, even better. Looking for solid plays to keep in your account for a week, week and a half, 2 weeks? I think you can't go wrong there. Let's see what else. Besides that, I didn't see any other groups that are of interest. Semiconductors, for the most part, you know, again, we talked about. He just got off the phone talking about how, you know, guys are moving out of technology, and I perfectly agree with him here. This is not what I don't trade these. Especially, you're not supposed to be in them for long periods of time, but these are these leveraged bear products. So when the stock or when the group goes down, these actually go up. And as you can see here over the last couple of days, they're really good to show you what the sector is doing, though. As you can see here, this is showing that, you know, this sector, the semiconductors, are losing a bit of steam. So we're starting to get a little bit of a turn, and we're starting to see it a little bit developing here. Again, if you can get rid of the Cheltner, and let's even go with a decent moving average, like a 50. We don't even need a 50. Let's go with a 10. And we're starting to see here, again, them coming above that 10 short-term moving average. And now they got to stay there, right? They got to stay there and maybe commit, and we'll finally have a real visual cue that, okay, these technology stocks that have led the way are, in fact, going lower. So you can use these ETFs, these bearish ETFs, as a visual cue instead of looking at every single ticker in the space. They're really good cues to do that. What's going on, Jason Gatewood? ADXS. Let's take a look at it. Again, you can find all the ETFs in the world at etfdb.com, known as the ETF database. That's etfdb.com. And you can put those ETFs in your watch list so you get a good grasp of what that particular sector in that ETF is doing. ADXS, I don't know too much about this one. As you can see here, I still got the 10 moving average on the chart. On a weekly chart, not doing so well. Let's move to a daily. We're fighting even to stay bullish on a short-term chart here. 10 is the daily chart, 10 moving average. We're fighting for the 10 moving average. So is this a turnaround situation is probably what you want to ask. And I don't see it yet, my man. I don't see it yet. Let's put the Keltner channels back on here. Today's 7% move was nice. Today's 7% move was nice. You had a rejection of that higher moving average, though. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I mean, when it comes to these penny stocks, you know, the first day move, that gets people really excited. The next thing you know, they hold the bag because, you know, penny stocks, you know, at the end of the people get it over, you know, they do too much. They do too much, and they send a lot of false signals because they don't necessarily move with the market in general. They do their own thing. That's why people love them, and that's the good and bad about them. So what we're looking at is a ticker that's had, you know, a very rough several weeks. And if we go back on the weekly, we still seeing very rough couple weeks. And today obviously we're developing here, and nice move today. But let's see what the rest of the week looks like. Very low RSI on the weekly. All right, it's fighting. Let's get a couple more days under our belt. But if you want to open up a starter position, I wouldn't be against that. But just understand when you're talking about these stocks, I mean, it's $1.44 stock. You just got to understand that people can get, too excited sometimes. If we were talking about a $24, $30 stock with, 4 million and 5 million in volume, it'd be a different conversation. UNH, United Health Group, one of the largest healthcare companies in our country, down slightly today. Did they report today? Did they report today? Not big on the healthcare stocks. If you are, 305-600-2896. Earnings tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. IQ. It's so funny because the thing about IQ, which is supposedly the Netflix of China, the government actually restricts like what movies they can watch and stuff, man. China is such a fucking weird place to live, man. You got to be grateful. I mean, I know our country isn't perfect, but imagine like the federal government telling Netflix, hey, you can't have that movie. It's too violent or it's too sexual or, IQ is told by the Chinese government what they can and can't show. But I know you don't care about that, or, you're all about getting your coins. And yeah, I mean, obviously with what they're showing today, that's a buy signal on IQ. That's a buy signal on IQ. And look, people on this side of the, of the Pacific, they like this, they like this stock, man. MACD about to cross over here, right? We got our signal at the top of the Keltner channel. We busted through there today. Yeah, that's a buy signal. That's a buy signal. I know Tyson Batts was big on this for a long time, too. I don't know if he's still in it because I know, the trend is your friend until the end, right? That's kind of the thing about trend trading. You can use moving averages all you want, but they tend to get you out really late. And as you can see here, the 10 moving average got you in for a long time, and you could have easily have written this until, that's the thing is these moving averages, they don't get you out at the highest levels. You can see here on the daily, would have got you out way off the high. But looks like it's restarted. All right, get back on that 10 moving average. Looks like it's restarted here. As you can see, climb back above. I'm using on the daily chart. 10 moving average is a short-term moving average showing change in momentum, right? It's the momentum indicator. And as you can see here over the last couple of days, it's done very well holding it and moving higher. Yeah, I can see it's getting heavy play. I see the volume here. 39 million shares traded. That's big volume on a $36 stock. That's huge. That's a lot of money. 36 million shares at $36 stock. That's a lot of money. TNDM, yeah, TNDM, huge fundamental moves to that business, George M. If only you held it, right? If only you held it throughout that. I mean, we can never see the future. That's the thing. We can never see the future. Speaking of stocks that are going from single digits to double digits, is AMD finally going to get to the 20s here? Is AMD finally going to get to the 20s? I probably should have brought this up at the beginning of the show. We'll wrap the show up with AMD. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If AMD does break out, you got to buy that, guys. I'd want you to buy this if AMD breaks out. And the likelihood of it breaking out will happen more if AMD, if NVIDIA does well. If NVIDIA earnings does well, if the stock continues to do well, AMD has a likely chance of breaking out and continuing to run because of how sensitive these things are. But, I know I spoke earlier about the semiconductors kind of struggling, but AMD has been a unique situation as it hasn't ran overly, it hasn't been a market leader, a sector leader for the most part. But it's one of those stocks you got to watch as we start to approach, these highs here. Looking at AMD, right? Could possibly break out here. I want to bring it to your attention. If AMD comes back and we start talking AMD 20s again. All right, put it on your watch list. Put it on your watch list. All right, AMD is another one. Look at that, man. We're at top of the beginning of May. All right, here's the weekly. You got your buy signal here. AMD, look at that beautiful chart. Oh, good Lord. These opportunities you just happen to miss because you're just not looking at the big picture. But again, we can't put our money everywhere. Great opportunity there. All right, great opportunity there. All right. Yes, indeed. Couple more tickers and we'll get out of here. Couple more tickers, we'll get it out of here. SCO. SCO crude, ultra short crude. Yeah, so this is a bearish ETF that if crude goes lower, this chart goes higher. And are crude prices overly high? Yes, crude is well off its highs. And but it's still fighting. That's the thing. It's still fighting. And you've been fooled before in crude, right? And these things can hurt you if you're not careful. And that's why, if you're looking to short crude, I would start to do a little bit more investigation on again what's going on in these crude producing countries and the organizations that affect these crude prices. I forgot Is it WTO? I forgot what it's called. OPEC. There he goes. Figure out what OPEC is doing. What Trump is saying about them, and because he's very news sensitive kind of, play. Very sensitive to global political situations as well. I mean, we're talking about Arab nations, Middle East countries. It's very, very headline sensitive. Watch Tim Zykes DVD is boring as hell. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think, the market is now, trading is just getting too big now for gurus now. It's too big now for gurus. All right, give me some more likes, guys. Give me some more likes. If you're listening to this video right now, you can't donate $1, donate a like. Check out my sponsors. blackboxtrader.org if you're into algorithm trading and trading alerts. Equityfeed.com, get 2 weeks free. Equityfeed.com, no credit card required. Best scanner on the market. With that being said, guys, great day trading. We'll see what happens over the next day and a half or so. I'll have my good friend John Bogan again to talk about what's going on in our government, our political, economic system as well. I want to have him maybe on Thursday of this week, probably after Wednesday's show. Very interesting to see what's going to happen with Netflix tomorrow. Will I come back on Wednesday and we're talking about a stock that's down 2 days, 3 days in a row? That's going to be really interesting to see and how that affects the FANG entirely. All right. That's going to be interesting to see. SUPV. What's going on, Mr. Lloyd? I've been here, man. I've been here. SUPV. I don't know too much about SUPV, man. SUPV. And then again, it's not common stock. It looks like these are ADRs. These foreign companies are all weird plays. Not a big fan of trading ADRs. Mr. Lloyd, what's up, man? 206.
Man, somebody told me you were sitting on some damn island somewhere trying to be like Foose and stuff, making a video. So I'm thinking, okay, I ain't seen this fool. I ain't get no notification, no nothing. That's, I just happened to because I always like to go back and look at your old shows. And I say, what the hell? He's on. And so I thought you was doing the food thing. Last time I seen you, you had your shirt off, talking like you on vacation. I said, okay, well, he's finally trying to do the food tour.
Yeah. No, I'll be making some videos in September when I'm in Africa, but that's a different topic, man. But great to hear from you again, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. I've and you probably went through the same thing, man. I think, you know, and I'm a few years behind. You got a lot more experience than I do, but let me tell you, as a trader, you go through so many transitions, and I think for myself, I just got tired of losing money. I mean, there's a bigger picture here as far as what we're seeing, and I told Bass today that I guarantee. You know, I guarantee Netflix is going to fall. It's if you look, and this is just me. I think because I've been doing this for so long, you can see it baked in the chart of what it's going to do. But people use their perception of what they see in reality as far as what's around them to determine how earnings is going to go. And I used to be that way. Oh, I seen 10 people lining up in the store, you know, buying iPhone 10s, and so I think it's going to go up. And that's the perception I used for a long time. No, seriously, I use that perception based on ads I see on TV, and I have a different perspective now of trading than I did before. I know it sounds goofy as hell, but I want to give my perspective of what's going on with the FANG right now.
Okay.
You could tell that this was going to happen. And let me tell you just some of the hints. There's more too, but I'm gonna give you a couple of them. What I saw, if you look at the XPX on Friday, and I think Thursday, Friday before today, it was sluggish. It was sluggish, and Netflix was sluggish too. If there was really conviction that this was going to rise, it would have went up. But didn't Friday it lose $19?
Yeah, Friday. And that's why I made that video, my Netflix video. I feel like the word was out, bro. I think somebody slipped the word, and you can't help now in hindsight, because hindsight is 20/20. But somebody saw something or heard something and felt that it wasn't going to deliver. And looking back on the chart on Netflix, as you can see, it took a tumble today.
But and here, this is, we talked about it here in 2016, 2018. We see this time and time again. The reality is, when you see this, you don't give up on Netflix. You just wait for the reversal and ride it back up $50 because you know it's going to go back to where it came from. And the thing what I've been doing over the years, man, what I realized, I've been trading the wrong perception of trading. Basically, I've been trading what I feel instead of trading the chart. And once I got out of trading what I feel, my trading has gotten better without having the emotions attached. And we've always talked about emotions, man. But as far as the FANG, looking at it right now, I think Amazon is I think I talked about it last time with my prediction with Amazon where it actually went the other way. But I've been studying for a while, man, trying to figure out why even when good news earnings falls, it's like the market's going to do regardless of what news comes out. I mean, really, the reality is it's whatever comes out. But let me ask you this: when you see somebody says bullish, that you read an article that says, and here's my theory on this: if you saw an article that says there's bullish consensus or bearish consensus, do you take that for at face value? Like, okay, you believe it?
Absolutely not, man, because but then again, I've been, with the show and everything like that, I've seen so many articles. I've seen writers who will, in the middle of the day, change the consensus of the day based on how, the trading day went. So in the morning, investors sideline, what's they called? Risk from, from tariffs. And then the same day in the afternoon, investors take in tariff risk. Market goes lower. So you'll see, especially on Yahoo News, you'll see that come up all the time. So you can never, ever look at an article and say, because you got to understand, mostly people who write these articles, some of them don't even trade, bro. Some of them don't even trade, man. They literally just look at what the SPX is doing, the SPY. If it's up, okay, today's a great day. And this comes out at 9:30, 9:45 without any clue of what the rest of the day is going to do.
Well, here's my theory behind it, and you know, I still see these in the chat rooms where they go read somebody's article and then they try to spread the word as it's the gospel. And the reality is, if anybody says, and it's all bullshit. If anybody tells me that there's bullish consensus or bearish consensus, they're full of shit. And let me tell you how they're full of shit. How can somebody make that determination based on where are they getting their facts from? Are they asking 2 people? I mean, are they asking 5 people? I mean, there's millions of people that trade this particular stock. If they ask 4 bears or 4 people, you know, what they think is going to go up or down, and 3 says go up and 1 says go down, that doesn't satisfy whether something's going to be bullish or bearish consensus. But and so what I'm concluding with, you know, Trump is always saying fake news, fake news. The reality is, news is what causes us to have fear when we trade. Because when something doesn't go our way, the first thing we do is we run to the news to try to find justification as to why we need to stay in the trade. Mm-hmm. And the thing of it is that don't read the news. Read what you see in the chart, because once you start reading the news, man, just for me, I stopped reading news. I don't even turn on the news anymore. Just because it causes too much noise in my decision making. And so, you know, trying to get all these bad habits of, you know, the bankrupt plays back in the day, it's been hard, man. It was a struggle for me for like the last, you know, 7 months, trying to get rid of these bad habits and trying to clear my mind so that I can see what's ahead. And the reality is that the news is, to me, is fake. Basically, and then the example I gave my wife was like, if you lost $1,000 in your bank and the bank didn't tell you anything, you'll be upset. Yeah. But if the bank told you that, hey, you lost $1,000 because Trump made a comment to China, which caused the interest rates to skyrocket, which caused you to lose money, then it provides you the justification that you need in order to move on. You can still be pissed, but you'll move on. And so that's why we run to the news to get that justification as to why we lost. And the thing of it is, man, is that it's the news to me is centered around to give us continual fear. Start trading without the news and see what happens. I guarantee that your mentality will change when you start looking at the chart, because the chart tells you how the news is. But it's the news to me is just like an indicator. So trading and you know, there's many avenues of trading, man, and I'm you know, still trying to find my niche. But basically, I mean, I'm not trying to find. I have my niche, but just trying to clear out the dirty bones in my closet. But the thing of it is, man, I don't know what the hell I'm saying right now. But
but we get what you're saying, bro. I mean, you know, just really what you're saying is, at the end of the day, you got to have a really mechanical trading strategy, man. You really got to have something that's built on principles, something that gets you out of the chatter, something that gets you out of your feelings, out of your heart, and really just kind of respects common sense. You know, again, I talked about this earlier in the show, just low RSI, you know, it's oversold. I mean, just common sense trading. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But here's the bigger picture to this. Let me put it to you this way on why we fail at trading. It's not, yes, we're in that 90%, but I'm gonna tell you why most people fail at trading. If you went to work, let's say you worked at let's say you got a job at McDonald's, right? And McDonald's said, they called you up and say, hey, we'll give you $50 an hour to come to work and put these ABC blocks together and then go home. Just ABC, or just put an alphabetical order, just A to Z, and then go home. We'll give you whatever, you know, $100 just for, or $200 a day, whatever, $1 million. Mm-hmm. This is what's going to happen. You may do that for 1 or 2 days, and you're making money. This is the same way as trading. We may have a strategy to make money, but what's going to happen is that we're going to get bored. And when we get bored, we start manipulating those blocks. Even though you're making money every single day with your trading and with putting those blocks together, we get bored. And what we decided to do, we decided to go put the A, the C, the D, maybe put the Z first, because I don't got nothing better else to do. And so what I'm saying is that we make this complicated. We as traders make trading complicated because we cannot stand doing simple things. It is really simple, but if you have some mechanical way of making money every day, just hitting the button and it made money for you, you'll get bored of it. You'll start adding indicators here. Oh, this looks a little bit better. Maybe I can make a little bit more money. Instead of staying with the same consistent method that you had that was making you $1,000 a day, you're going to add a line on there to see if you can make a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to add another line. Oh, this looks a little bit better. And this is how we fall into that trap of that 90%, because we as people, as we are bred to make things complicated. We don't want a simple job. We want a complex job. If your job was easy, you'll get bored. And when you get bored, you start doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And so that's why I've been focusing on myself to figure out what it is, because I was making all kind of money with Priceline every single day, but I started adding lines. Oh, this indicator looks good here. And the reality is I went out from that ABC order to A to Z. And now it's once you start doing that, you start manipulating, and you start messing with your head. And so you have to try to retrain yourself to get back into the mentality, because we don't like to do simple things. I mean, would you continue to go to work every day if they just told you, hey, we just need you to drink this cup of water. We'll give you $200 every single day. Just drink this water.
Of course.
How long you think you, how long, right. So what's the difference between trading? How come you can't do that in a trade? If you made a consistent $1,000 each day, why would you want to change it? Mm-hmm. So that's my philosophy around it. And it took me a long time to learn that. I just kept adding more indicators, looking at more videos. Basically, my chart looked like a damn hoarder's house every single time I do that, because it's the noise, news, the people. And so, separating myself and really getting to know myself, I realized that as people, we don't like simple things. Even if you're making $10,000 a day, we still going to do something stupid to add to that chart, thinking that it's going to make it different, and it's not. How come we can't be satisfied with the 10 grand we're getting a day? Why do we have to keep adding lines to it? If you had a method that was making you money every single day, you shouldn't have to do that. But it's all in our mind, man, and that's how I feel about it. Absolutely. So I'm sorry to be preaching. Oh, you're preaching. I probably am preaching. So that's just my food for thought, man. Is to me, trading is very simple. It's not. It can be simple.
Yeah.
But you have to have the mentality to think that it's simple. If you don't, if you like complex things, if you like to put puzzles and think things through, you will never be successful because you will overthink it instead of looking at it for what it is. The market is going to do what it wants to do. We have no control over it. And so adding more things is not going to make it better. Look at the market for what it is. So with my prediction with the FANG stocks, and this is how I felt about it, is that it was putting out. It was like sitting at the top of the hill, putting out like it was running out of gas. Mm-hmm. And typically, if you look at the XPX or the S&P, it jumps $20, $30 a day. But as it got close to Netflix earnings, it was putting out. Amazon was putting out. I got burnt on Amazon shorts, waiting for this short to come through, and I'm still, my timing is off, but I know what it's going to do, just not when. And I don't have the patience to buy those long-term options, even though, you know what's so stupid? Even though they pay the same amount of money as the weeklies. Mm. They cost a little bit more, but they pay the same amount, even if you play the weeklies. But we fall in love with those cheap options because who likes a bargain? Everybody likes a bargain, so we see those cheap options, we buy them instead of going to pay the extra $30 to hold out for 2 weeks. You rather buy 100 contracts at $3,000 because of who we are. We like to make things more complicated and more than what it is. Instead of getting that consistent money, even knowing that you can buy that one contract and get the same amount of profit. So and that's where I've been at, man, for like the last couple of months, is just trying to clear my head and so I can just hit the button and go back to that ABC trading. Because, you know, I was making $1,500 to $2,000 a day. And then I started to see my profits change because I'm looking at other people's charts. And it's almost like looking at a Lamborghini, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I want to get in that car and go for a drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, look at that line. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that person knows what that means. That person understands what it means. It's not meant for me to add that on there because it's not mine. So, you know, stick what you have and truly make trading simple. Make it fun. If you're not having fun trading, then you're going to lose because your motivation is not in the right spot.
There it is, man.
So, anyways, I got to get off the phone, man, because you know I might start.
Hey, I appreciate you, Mr. Lloyd. It's been a long time, and I appreciate you.
I know, man.
Monday, Wednesdays, bro. Call me and let me know what you're playing, bro. But again, thank you for bringing up Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see here, we're looking at what happened today. It pretty much gave back a lot of gains today. Damn near almost $20 from the high. And Amazon with an interesting candlestick to end the day. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up on the 25th. I'm gonna wait for the close of the day, and I'll let you know how I feel about Amazon's. Is that I gotta see if it's after hours. If it's after hours, I'll definitely let you know before earnings to give you my perspective of what I see. So, anyways, man, good job all you traders out there, man. Hang strong, man. It's a tough road out there, and just don't go in debt. All right, brother. Hey, it's good to hear from you, Sal. I'm glad you got some new headphones, man. I thought those were hearing aids you put on your ear. I was like, what the hell is that?
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.
All right, man. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, I got rid of those beats. I got me some new headphones. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I know we went a little over our time. I'm trying to keep the show under an hour, but I appreciate you all for watching. Tell your friends about the show. All right, I know it's been a little bit of a switch. We're adding in options. We're adding in stocks. I just want to, you know, take the show away from just being kind of like a clownish kind of like OTC kind of thing. And we'll talk OTCs. I mean, we'll always talk OTCs. But I just want to also, you know, put in some things to where we can actually make sure we end up after, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years with an account that's actually going up. So that's what I'm mixing things in, and some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it, but I appreciate all you guys for watching. All right? Yes, indeed. If you're not a subscriber, click subscribe right now. Press like on this video right now. That helps me out a lot. Check out my sponsors in the description. Until next time, which is going to be Wednesday, happy trading, everyone. Take care.